Today's the 8th. Yeah. Today's the 8th. Okay, so today is November 8th, 2024. Let's go over yesterday's price action as well as the outlook for today. All right, so yesterday had two trades, two wins, pretty good. Um, and they were both on NQ. So right after morning session, 10 o'clock macro didn't really give me anything. No, no structure. Kind of wanted to see a retracement back into this area here, and maybe for consolidation before FOMC took off, but obviously that didn't happen. Price just continues to draw higher. Came back during the 11 o'clock macro, and the 11 o'clock macro I liked, which was this one right here. As you can see, price retraced into 50% of the range. But the beauty of that trade was that I actually shorted after price drew through this low here, but it was actually a 30-second trade, and the 30-second trade looked a little like this. I actually recorded a bit of it yesterday. Where is it? Right here. And so as you can see here, I am taking. I actually already got short right about here, as actually right here. So I got short here as soon as price closed below this breaker block here with this body. Got short, and I didn't cover. What I wanted to see is I wanted to see price maybe create a short-term low right here. And what did it do? It swept, then it came back, swept this high here. I added here, covered two into here, and then the rest one I actually ended up taking out. As you can see here, this is the 30-second. Um, so pretty good short. And I covered again. I covered both into 50% of the range. Now I would have expected, or I would have wanted to see price draw into this low here, but obviously we did not get that. Instead, we just retraced back into equilibrium. So pretty good trade here. And I did again. It says here 11.11, as you can see right there, right there. So I took it at 11. Well, during the 11 o'clock macro, covered into the slowdown here, and that was it. So I like that trade because it helped me build capital, so that I could use it for the FOMC short. I mean FOMC trade if there was going to be a trade. So pretty good. A couple of days ago, actually, which was right here. I think it was this one. Um, no, it wasn't this one. It was. No, it was not that one. Was it this one? No, it was not that one. Oh, it was this one right here. So this is the short I took the other day. Actually, no, it was not that one either. Darn. Was it this one? Yeah, yeah, it was this one. Similar trade. Waited for price to break lower. Price traded into 50% of the range, and obviously it reversed to take out this high here. And I ended up covering into equilibrium. So pretty good trade there as well. Um, so same thing on the same thing as that one here. Um, just because I like that trade. Um, but I also identified that price was a little overextended. Price took out buy side here, and I wanted to see price to come down and take sell side. But obviously, again, it denied. It traded into equilibrium and then reversed and drew higher. Not necessarily advised. Not necessarily advised to take this type of trade, but again, the fact that I covered into this equilibrium, my mindset was that we might reverse here, so that's why I took this trade, covered here. I didn't hold on to it. I did hold on to one, and obviously here, what I should have realized was the 15-minute did not have SMT. Instead, I used this SMT here, where but then when I zoomed out into the 15-minute, it wasn't. It was actually a lower time frame SMT, which I don't like. So I probably should have ended up just taking it off, and then I ended up getting stopped out at this high here. So pretty good trade. Again, helped me build capital. So going into the afternoon session, I liked how we were trading. I liked that we were drawing higher. And one of the crazy things about the FOMC was that it did not move as crazy as it had in the previous days. All right, let's add this back in here. Actually, it's this one. The thing I like about this, anyways. Okay, okay. So here again, swept buy side, came back to sweep sell side, and then we drew higher. Uh, so I was not watching at all during 1400, 1430. I did come on at like 1440, I think. And once 1440 came along, what I started to notice was that ES took out this low here, NQ did not take out this low here. Uh, so that to me was SMT along with this SMT over here. So you got first stage SMT, second stage SMT, first stage SMT, second stage SMT. I liked how NQ swept this high here, came down and sweep this low here. Again, first stage SMT, second stage SMT. So I was very comfortable getting short. I mean, getting long here, because here we did violate this dealing range here. And one of the things I love about a dealing range getting violated is once the dealing range gets violated, that's when the reversal takes place. That's when the reversal takes place. I got that from what's his name? I think it was Susie, Zeussy on YouTube. Um, he's one of the guys I like. I like watching when it comes to the dealing range. And so again, once this dealing range got violated and this one didn't and held above this 15-minute order block, that's when I decided to go long on NQ. Again, first stage S&P, second stage, we have a double purge here, and these are my setups. These are what I like taking, because again, the concept is that you want to see both sides of the market get, and as long as you understand your bias, you know where price is headed to, then you just get in there. And so I saw this inversion get drawn here, and I actually jumped in right here. I jumped in with 3 contracts, and I probably should have added more once I realized all of this right here, and then covered one into this area here. And then I saw a 5-minute unicorn get drawn here. Probably again should have added, but I was holding on to it. Covered the last one here, and then I actually saw a second double purge here, but on the 1 minute once again. Probably should have added, but nah, I kept on holding on to it. And once double purge here again, I put my stop here, actually held on to it, and actually got stopped right here on this contract. But again, pretty good trade on both of these. So very happy about that. So today, haven't seen how price drew overnight, and the reason I don't like looking at data is because that's how you get yeah, that's how you get sidetracked with what you want to do in the market. So for me, it's best to stay out of the market, stay out of the view of what the market is doing. Um, because if you do, then you come in with fresh eyes and you understand exactly where the market is going. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at where data is at the moment. I would have liked to see maybe some consolidation during Asia. Uh, when you're at all-time highs, you never short. Um, I mean, unless you're taking it on the lower time frame, which is what I did. Where was it? Here. Pretty good trade into equilibrium. Um, so when you're at all-time highs, I forget who I got that from. It was Dan Dowding. Uh, Dan Dowding. That's one of the rules I got from him. Is that you never short when you're at all-time highs unless price tells you to be short, really. So let's take a look at the daily first. I don't expect the reverse of this displacement here. Right, this displacement. So I don't expect to get short here. Um, Eventually, maybe this could be maybe a manipulation leg. I don't know. I highly doubt it, though. I don't think price is going to do that. So I don't see anything on the daily. We do have SMT at the highs between this high and this high over here on ES and NQ. NQ swept previous day high. ES did not. But just because there's SMT there doesn't mean I'm going to take a short. I need to see what happened on the 4 hour, because on the 4 hour, if price already swept the lows, or the 4 hour, the 10, the 1 hour, the 50 minute, if price already swept the lows, then there's really no reason to look to get a short. But if there are reasonable targets on the 4 or lower time frames, then it could offer an opportunity. I still have these relative equal lows here highlighted between this low here and this low here. So for some reason, I'm thinking that this might be the draw on liquidity in the near future, just not today, maybe. Uh, but again, we do have buy side taken here on the 4 hour. What's this? The high here is 9.75, and this high is 10. So we do have sweep here on the 4 hour as well. Right there. Again, the high here is 10 and this high is 9.75. So it did sweep it by maybe one tick. So again, we do have sweeps on the 4 hour. We do have relative equal lows here. And as well as the 4 hour here. But since this candle hasn't closed yet, I'm not gonna notate that on the 4 hour. We are within this gap here, and as you can see, this could be a bullish sign, because price traded into constant encroachment, opened and closed above it. So one of the things I like doing is when I see something like this, I like to see what the 10 o'clock macro does. Does it continue to draw higher, or does it come down and close below it? So that's something I'll be looking. Looking for. There's no gap here, but it is down here. So again, this could be the drawn liquidity, but I'm keeping my mind open until yeah, the 10 o'clock macro starts. So the reason why I'm not using this wick low and this wick high to draw the gap is because, as you can see here, right here, the open and close here, there's a tiny little void, and there's a tiny little void here as well, and you have to use those voids. That's that's one of ICT's rules. Whenever there's a void in between the gaps here, or in between the open and close, you have to use the high. You have to use those as well uh, as the gaps. Here you don't. There is no gap, and there's no void. So I'll use that. This 1 hour. This is the previous day high here. I'm gonna leave that there. 1 hour. Let's keep looking. All right, let's go into the 60-minute. All right. So again, buy side was taken, sell side here was taken here on the 1 hour. So it's been met, in my opinion. Let's make this a lot smaller. And I don't need this anymore. So I do want to see how price reacts with this gap here. Got an inversion here, as well as this gap here. So that could be a balanced price range. So I do want to see how price reacts here. But on the again on the 1 hour, I have no objective um, because again both objectives have already been taken. Buy side was taken, sell side was taken. So on the 1 hour, I don't really have a trade. I just want to see how price reacts in this gap here, along with this inversion here. And let's see here. It traded into 50% of the range. Whenever um, you want to see the dealing range, or you don't really, whenever there's like a one-sided move the previous day, you want to use the candle that broke um, outside of the consolidation, the candle that had the most thrust outside of out yeah outside of the consolidation. Let's take a look here. I'm not going to use this order block. I don't like it. So here, the objective has not been met yet because again, buy side was not taken up here. Buy side was taken here though, and as you can see down here, it hasn't been swept yet. Maybe here on the 15-minute, but here, this to me is buy side. I mean sell side. But I'm gonna leave this here with because that is relatively good lows there. I don't know. That was a 15-minute unicorn. 1 hour. These I'll leave here though in case we decide to draw low. This one I'll leave here. Um, this one I'll leave here. Okay. So again, I am watching for this area here. Um, double purge here. Yeah, this is the double purge that I'm always talking about. So now that sell side was taken, maybe we do draw towards these highs. These highs are relatively clean, equal. Um, there is SMT at the lows here on the 1 hour. But just because there is SMT doesn't mean that that's where I want to get in. I'll take this out. So I am watching this area though. I am watching this area to see how price reacts there. Here, price has already closed above consequent encroachment of this gap. Yep, it's already closed above it. So again, this candle, I want to see what happens into the 10 o'clock macro because this candle, as you can see, closed above it, but this one immediately rejected. So during the 10 o'clock macro, I want to see how this one closes. If it closes above here, then that means I'm not going to be looking at this candle as a rejection. What I'll be looking at is maybe we have some type of order block here. So I want to see how this candle closes. Depending on how this one closes, will give me a direction as to where the market might go. This 4 hour. Let's take a look at the 15-minute now. So on the 15-minute, again, you have a double purge here. First, we swept this low here, then we came back up. We didn't necessarily sweep this high because this high was already swept. But I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm not looking at these gaps at all. I don't like how they are. So I think I'm going to be watching this area here. I want to see price draw into these lows down here, and then maybe see if we can get a reversal. Um, if this SMT works, right? If this SMT works, then what I want to see is I want to see price sweep this high. After it sweeps this high, what does it do? Does it decide to come back and just throw that out, or what does it do? Again, this tiny little SMT here is only for this high up here. That's all it is for. It's not for this high or anything. It's just for this high. I want to see how price reacts after it draws at these highs. But so far, I don't have any. There's not enough structure for me to quantify an actual trade or to see maybe where price um, is likely leading to. Um, but again, I do want to see price come back down one more time, and then maybe we get a draw back into equilibrium. So right now, I do want to see this external liquidity get taken out. Well, external liquidity as in lower time frames, and then price trade back into internal, because here it didn't necessarily take out any lows. Here it took out this little tiny external liquidity and traded back into an imbalance, because there are four ways price trades. It trades from liquidity to liquidity, which are these lows here and this high here. It trades from liquidity to, let's see here. All right. It trades from liquidity to imbalance. And then let's say price draws back lower, then that means it traded from imbalance to liquidity. And then finally from, let's say it trades in here, reverses, and only trades into this tiny little imbalance. So that's imbalance to imbalance. So there are four ways price trades. Um, but I've yet to see what price wants to do. There's just not enough structure on the 15-minute um, for me to tell where the market is going right now. But once that setup occurs, it's always like a light bulb just goes off in my head. Not because um, I see different PD arrays, but it's because I've seen it so many times in price action that it becomes familiar to me. Um, so one more thing I forgot to say is this could be first stage SMT, where here we had to sweep already because the objective was already met, and since the objective was already met here, it doesn't necessarily need to sweep this low. So again, I need to see what price does going forward here. Let's take a look. Yeah, let's take a look at the 15-minute. I mean the 5-minute. There's probably a setup. Yep, you have it here. So this is the type of setup I will take, um, where here price swept, and then here it did sweep it, but this to me is sell side liquidity and it didn't. So that's why this is SMT, and that's why a trade like this, getting long here, or getting in with a turtle soup type of entry here. Again, that's all it is. It's not you hold on to this trade. If you get long here, you don't, and you hold on to this trade after it sweeps this high, then your ass going to be stopped out, because this is not the objective, because you're trading on this time frame. If you're trading on the 1 hour time frame, obviously you get in somewhere down here and you cover some into 50% of the range and the rest up here if it gets up there. But since this to me would be a lower time frame trade, then I would look to cover some here and then the rest would be a stop here. So once it takes this high like it just did here, that's it for the trade for me. Um, but again, since time to me is always a factor, I'm not gonna get into this trade. In fact, I, probably if I were to trade the 9 o'clock macro, I most likely would have taken this trade. But I don't trade the 9 o'clock macro. I only trade the 10 o'clock macro and every other macro after that. So let's stay on the 15 minute. All right. So on the 15 minute, we have buy side swept. So if it decides to draw lower and maybe reverse in this area, then this would be sell side. And if this SMT works, then it should not sweep this low again. Here, one of the things I would like to see if I'm going to get long and these lows down here is I would like to see NQ not sweep this high and then maybe come down to sweep this low, but not sweep this high here, or one of these lows not get swept. But obviously it just did. Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty good model here. So we'll see. So if these highs are swept, then this SMT is done, and this objective would be done as well here. So if we continue to draw higher, what I want to see is I don't want to see these highs get swept just yet. If this one, uh, actually, then this becomes relative equal highs up here. So this is reminding me of this trade where right here where NQ took the objective early on and ES did not. Yep, ES did not. So what did I do? I actually got in on the unicorn, covered some up here, and the crazy thing about this trade is I took I took most of it off at I think it was at 15 or 20 points, um, and then held on to two contracts, and then got stopped out uh, because I raised my stop. And the fact is that the first objective was not taken. So one of the rules is I don't move my stop until the first objective is taken. After that objective gets taken, that's when I move my stop up. So that was the mistake I did here. I learned it through a couple of mistakes I did. I think it was 2 weeks ago, where I moved my stop, um, and I was correct on the trade or on the bias, and I moved my stop when the objective had not been taken. Um, but yeah, that's my fault. Okay, so again, I don't want to see this high get taken. I do want to see a maybe retracement back into this area here, and price continues to draw higher. But we'll see. If it gets taken, then I'll shift my focus up to this one. But because all I want to see is price maybe come back. If it doesn't come back, then that's fine. What I want to see is just continued. I want to see more structure afterwards. Strong equilibrium. First objective, second objective. Once this high gets taken, then I think that could be it. It kind of sucks that I missed this one. There's probably a nice entry on the 1 minute at that macro. Let's take a look. Yep, there is. So you can see here, price swept buy side here, then it swept sell side, drew higher, order block here, gap here, enter here, covered those highs. Yeah, pretty nice setup. And when I see a double purge, what I like to see is that some of them, one of the pairs, not sweep it, but it sweeps sell side obviously. As you can see here, it only took out some of it. Actually, it did sweep buy side. Never mind. But it's even a better sign when it doesn't sweep buy side. If I'm looking to get long, I want to see buy side get swept first and sell side, and then we get that model trade long. Uh, so right now we are getting a rejection here. So how low NQ comes down, that's all yet to be seen. ES is retracing again, first objective. So I don't want to see this high get taken yet. There is SMT at the highs here, but again, I'm not, since I'm bullish, and my bias is bullish, and I do believe these are the objectives. Um, I'm looking for a retracement, and in that retracement, now that price looks to be retracing, I don't want to see displacement, because if I see displacement, then that means we're going for a stop hunt, and it doesn't. Then I don't know how low we'll go. I want that retracement to be um, dull, I guess. And that retracement will always be below 50%. That's where I start hunting for my setup. So if anything, 50% lies here, but this to me would be, because I want to see that double purge. Let's take a look at the hourly, 60-minute. So once 10 o'clock comes along, I do want to see how this hourly closes. I am hoping that it closes somewhere here, because then this turns into an inversion. I'll just go ahead and take this one out. And this one, honestly, I don't care where it closes, as long as it closes above consequent encroachment. Actually, it's technically already an inversion, because it already violated all three candles once it took this high here. What's the 4 hour look like? If price does not retrace, then I want to see how price closes up here on the 4 hour. If it closes above it, then we might get continuation and then obviously afterwards we'll get some sort of structure for another opportunity. But again, if the objective has already been met, then that's when the probabilities diminish. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Let's add it here to see how it closes. Oh, the trade I took yesterday, it was the same one as Susie. I think he put that trade online yesterday, and I watched it a little. The crazy thing about that one though is he actually got stopped out on the first trade, and on the second one he aced that one. And the second trade is the one I took, which is pretty cool. This is that 4 hour down close candle. All right, so again, I do want to see price close above that here. So far, I don't see anything on the 1 hour. Let's move into the 15 minute. This right here is a bearish PDA get violated. I'm watching this um, gap here, not this one because I'm thinking price closes below here. But if anything, actually no, it already violated all three candles. So if anything, I don't want to see price come back down to these areas on ES. So this would be the lowest I would want to see ES draw into. And we do have a gap here forming on the 15 minute. And since price hasn't closed above these, I could do this, but we have about 4 minutes. I think it will close above that, and then we can do this. But let's see how it closes. It does look like we're going to close above this one. This one technically hasn't been violated yet because this candle hasn't closed. So I am waiting to see how this one closes. This has a tiny void here. That's why I'm using the close of the previous candle. Same thing here. I would use this one. So I haven't zoomed into the 5 or the 1 minute yet because I don't want to get bogged down by too many candles and too many what ifs. So that's why I stay on the 15 minute. Once this 15 minute closes, that's when I zoom into the 5 and the 1 minute because that gives me about 5 minutes to look at what the lower time frames are doing. Two and a half minutes until that 15 minute closes. Even if it reverses here, though, I'm not getting in. I just don't like to get in when there's no double purge. But again, I'll have to see what the 5 and 1 minute are doing. This doesn't necessarily scare me. Again, we have the purge here, so I'm okay with that. We're about to close. So now this right here is obviously it's a previous day high, but since this high here drew itself, now we have relative equal highs that we could look for price to draw into later on. Okay, so I'll leave those two there. We now have this right here. So now I want to see this low get swept. So we'll see. Let's go to the 5-minute now. We did close above consequent encroachment of this gap here. 15-minute. Let's look at this right here. So this is the current dealing range in the 5-minute. And like I said earlier, I like seeing one of the dealing ranges get violated. So preferably this one, since this one is already up here. And I'm not gonna notate this gap here. This one is a 15-minute. Let's take a look at the 1-minute now. Actually, I thought that was a 5-minute. We have BPR here, but I'm not really concerned about that. Three minutes until the macro starts. Looks like we're not going to close above this here, but on the 1-minute over here we are. There is a unicorn here with this breaker here, but it's outside of the macro, so I'm not interested in taking that one. Okay, so now I like ES as well too. So what I want to see with ES is I do not want to see this high get swept because we got high side, right? So now I want to see side get taken. And if sell side gets taken, I want to see if we maybe, if we maybe draw higher afterwards. And it's lining up with 50% of this range as well as this unicorn model right here. No. Oh, shit. All right, well, we already took the objective there. So I maybe still might give it a try, but only with like a lower. Yeah, I want to see it get rejected now. the 1 minute here. And as you can see here, sell side got taken, but not buy side. So definitely, I want to see price come back down here so I can get long. I'm going to give it a try with ES. Because if this is the SMT or the second stage SMT, then likely this low is protected already. So we'll see. I don't want to see price draw higher. I want to see a quick draw into these lows down here. Yeah, I think this might have been it. So I'm going to look to get long here. My first trade. 16.75, 5.50. But it needs to close above this. If it doesn't, then no entry. So now this aligns with 50% of the range. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. Nothing up here. Ooh, crap, I forgot to do something. Yeah, that was beautiful. Oh, that's even better. So time was definitely a good entry here. This candle, we closed above it, drew higher. It just wasn't my entry. I just did not like that. Yeah, this was the entry. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's about to close above, so
think I'm going to take it and use that low as an entry. But again, I want to see price close above the order block. $16.25. So 16.25 will be my entry if I get it, but we have to close above it first. Nope. Nope, didn't close above it. We closed above 50% of the range though. I like that. I'm just waiting until 16 gets offered again. All right, so I'll take it off. I just got triggered. I'll take it off because we just took out a tiny, we do have a tiny little, what's the word? Little purge here of buy side. So we might come back down to seek sell side here. So I'm in long here at 16.25. This right here to me is the order block I'm watching now. Depending on how this one closes, I'll add more um, or keep holding on to it. Nope, not liking that. Actually, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to re-add. I'm going to add down here. It's way better for me. 3.25. That one's better. It's a better entry for me. Better type of setup. Okay. All right. So I just took turtle soup there. I do not want to see price close below this here. All right, so again, this is the type of setup I like taking. We drew into 50% of the range. Yeah, we took out buy side first, then sell side into an imbalance. We're also holding above this unicorn here, so we'll see. I want to see price continue to close above this. We have a tiny little void here, which gives me confidence on my trade. There's still, let's see here. Yep, I really like this. So we'll see. I'm going to put my stop here at 92.25. We're drawing wicks. Good. O'clock macro. I like how the hour opened. Beautiful. So my first objective will be up here at 32. Okay. Second objective will be the New York morning high, which is 50.50. All right. Technically speaking, this is the first objective. We could still come down to sweep this low one more time. Possibly, maybe. I would have liked to have seen a gap here turn into an inversion, but we had an immediate rebalance. So we do have a balanced price range in a way. We continue to draw higher. Again, my stop is 92.25. It's about an 11 point stop. I have my hard stop set there. I don't need this anymore. This I don't need anymore. This I still need. As you can see, as I said uh, earlier, the reason why I like this inversion here is because these three candles is the one that made this inversion. And so if price draws below here, then that violates this inversion again. We're leaving a gap on NQ. The gap would be here. And if price were to trade in this area, that'd be an immediate rebalance. This is a bag. The only thing I don't like about ES though, it's rejecting at the high of the range. So we'll see. Let's take a look at the 15 again. Okay, so it does look like we have that immediate rebalance. We just swept that low. Oh no, I got stopped. Don't tell me that's it. So we had the sweep of the lows here, and then we swept again. Now we're seeking sell side. Oh, darn. All right. Well, I got stopped. My again, my stop was 11 points on 3 contracts. Really nothing to worry about. This trade did not work out, obviously, but that's fine because now I'm thinking that maybe down here is the drawn liquidity. This actual sell side, because this trade was based on off the 1 minute. This trade down here would be based on the 15 minute. Don't tell me that was it. Technically speaking, that could be it. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I was about to just impulsively get in there, but I'm not gonna get in there. So I just want to see how price reacts if it sweeps these lows down here. Daily range. So we'll see if this daily range gets violated. That could be the other place where it decides to reverse. All right, so we just swept that low. Now let's see what it does. We're still 3 points away from 3 minutes away from the macro, so I'm still hunting. Okay. All right, so I want to see how price closes here. 90.25. I'm prone to give it a second try. And this could be an even bigger win. Just don't take off without me, please. 15 more seconds. All right, so I have my orders there. I'm in. I want to quick draw higher. 19-point stop. Good. My max is 30 points per trade, which it looks like I'm gonna get stopped here. We'll see though. So I want to see how it reacts here again. It's still looking good. I like it. Because if this SMT is gonna stay there, then we'll see. 71.50. I do have my sell stops. Well, I do have my stops there, and we have 1 minute until the macro's over. Yeah, I don't like that reaction. Nope, I'm going to take it off right there. Almost did. Yep, I'm out. All right, so I took that off because as soon as it touched consequent encroachment here, it just rejected. So that's it for today. How many points was that? 25 points total on 3 contracts that I lost. So very small. Most of my trades, well, all my trades have a 30-point limit. I don't I don't risk no more than 30 points on a trade. This one I only risked 11 points, and this one I risked 15 points because I covered into this low down here. Well, more like 13.15. So I took my profit off here, my loss off here instead of waiting for price to come down here. Um, because as soon as price, as you can see, this tiny little void here, as soon as price closed below this, um, he rejected consequent encroachment. So better off staying away from that. So macro's over. Um, I think maybe we do sweep this low here. I wouldn't like to see it get swept until the 11 o'clock macro, and then we continue to draw higher. So not the best type of. Actually, there's one thing I completely forgot. There was no news today, but still, I was trying to capitalize off of the last 3 days, and I had expected price to maybe continue drawing higher. So uh, kept my two contracts. Well, kept my two losses. Uh, basically in just one loss. And whenever I have two losses back to back, that's when I stop trading. But those two losses that I just took here equal just one normal loss I like taking. So I will be looking for another trade later on to see if maybe we continue to draw higher. We are at OTE here, but I do think we come down here. But at this point right now, we're outside of the macro. Um, and this trade was working a little bit. And I probably should have taken off here, but I wanted to take it off up here. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how price trades now. This objective was taken. That sucks. So 9 o'clock macro was the best trade. Very unfortunate that. Um, yeah, maybe I should start looking at the 9 o'clock macros as well. But what are you gonna do? Anyways, that's it for today. I'll see you Monday. Just disconnected from data until I come back for the 11 o'clock macro.